A girl was cursed. Any boys who got close to her would die in strange accidents. Over time, people started calling her a witch and stayed away from her. Since childhood, weird things often happened around Mijong. A boy tried to show his love in a playful way, but accidentally fell into a manhole under construction. Another boy shyly gave her candy on White Day, but got hit by a car on his way home. At first, Mijong thought these were just coincidences. Then in high school, the senior she liked got into Korea University. He happily gave her his study notes and promised to wait for her at college. The next second, he suddenly collapsed and started twitching. Mijong guessed he was stung by a hornet. Boys nearby rushed him to the hospital. Later, the senior moved to Seoul, and Mijong never saw him again. Soon, rumors spread that the senior got hurt because of Mijong. A boy stopped the gossiping girls and gave Mijong a bottle of milk, but the rumors still hurt her deeply. Mijong's mother died in childbirth. Her birthday was also her mother's death anniversary. To avoid making her feel guilty, her father only celebrated her birthday and gave her cash instead of gifts. He hoped she could make more friends and treat them to food. To keep her father from worrying, she lied about having friends, but the curse didn't stop. One day, all 12 boys in her class got food poisoning, while the girls were fine. Again, everyone looked at Mijong with suspicion. Even Mijong started noticing that accidents at school occurred more frequently, and most of those who were harmed were boys. After school, she waited for the rain to stop. A boy volunteered to walk her home. On the way, he nervously confessed his feelings. Suddenly, a bus passed by, almost splashing them with water. Mijong suddenly remembered the rumors about her curse, but the boy ran off shyly without waiting for her reply. Moments later, 2 loud thunderclaps shook the sky. The boy was struck by lightning and died. The whole school held a memorial for him. Mijong felt guilty. She watched the hearse slowly leave, thinking if he never met her, maybe he wouldn't have died. Not far away, Dongjin silently watched her. He was the only one who noticed her face covered in tears. Classmates whispered that every accident at school was connected to Mijong. Every time someone got involved with her, bad things kept happening, like they were cursed. They even started calling her a witch. Dongjin argued that judging the whole based on just a part was unfair. Just because accidents happened near her didn't mean she was the cause. Soon after, the school went on a picnic, and Dongjin was in charge of taking photos. Through his lens, he saw Mijong reading alone and secretly took her picture. During lunch, a boy gave Mijong a drink. She quickly stopped his confession and ran away in panic. Still, the boy ended up with a serious leg injury. Dongjin saw Mijong stand up in fear, trembling all over. After the trip, he rushed to develop the photos. Looking at her close-up, he noticed she seemed unhappy. The next day, the injured boy came to school on crutches. He seemed to blame Mijong for his injury and told his friends to stay away from her. Over time, Mijong spoke less and became afraid of meeting people. Dongjin noticed she always sat alone on a bench at lunch under the harsh sun. Remembering his mother was the PTA president, he hurried to help at her store. After cheering his mother up, he suggested putting a sunshade in front of the school warehouse. His reason was that after playing soccer, sitting there in the sun could lead to skin cancer. His loose mouth got him a beating, but his mother still agreed. Seeing Mijong enjoying her lunch in the shade, Dongjin felt satisfied. However, accidents, big and small, kept happening at school. All the victims were boys who had spoken to Mijong. Slowly, boys started avoiding her. Rumors spread like wildfire. Da-yoon even told everyone that Mijong's mother died in childbirth, calling her a cursed witch. At night, Mijong felt the most at peace. Her father saw her always studying alone in the room and explained he could afford to send her to tutoring. She proudly said she didn't need it and still got good grades, but her father still noticed she was troubled. Mijong smiled and seriously said, noting bad happened. In the days that followed, she attended school quietly and without drawing attention of herself. A boy felt sorry for how unfairly she was treated and comforted her, saying the accidents were just coincidences. Just then, some girls passing by and saw them talking. Mijong ignored him and walked away. The stubborn boy followed her and even confessed his feelings. At that moment, Mi-jong noticed the broken high-voltage box. Before she could warn him, the boy was hit by a snapping wire. Another tragedy happened. Now, everyone was convinced that she was a witch and stayed away from her. Only Dongjin stood there, watching her sad face. Even the place where she used to sit was covered in insults. Inside the school, there was no place for her. Before leaving, she turned around as if sensing something. Dongjin was looking at her gently. He waited anxiously for the break, planning to walk up to her and say, "Hi, I'm Lee Dongjin." But Mi-jong never returned to school. Her father was angry she quit school without permission. She said nothing, hiding under the blanket and crying. To figure out the truth, Mr. Park went to ask her classmate Da-eun. She told him everything Mi-jong had gone through. At that moment, Mr. Park finally understood his daughter's pain. With red eyes, he packed her bag and lunchbox. Before leaving, he saw Dongjin cleaning the graffiti on her bench. Unlike the others, Dongjin never believed the rumors. One day, he would prove Mi-jong wasn't a witch. Mr. Park patted his shoulder and said, "Thank you." Mi-jong stayed in her room all day, and her father only reminded her to make sure to eat. She wished people would forget about her, but the rumors spread like mold in every corner of the village. Mr. Park got into a fight. A man blamed Mi-jong for his son's injury because of the rumors. Thinking about his daughter being slandered, Mr. Park felt heartbroken. He warned everyone if they spread lies again, he would turn this place upside down. However, some gossiping women told Mistress Oh to keep Dongjin away from Mi-jong. Mi-jong liked animals more than humans. She asked her father to buy cat food, but he said stray cats were unlucky. Mi-jong mumbled that they didn't bring bad luck, and she was no different. Mr. Park realized his word had hurt his daughter, so he went to Dongjin's family store, but they only sold fertilizer and pesticides, not cat food. Dongjin's mother gave him some of her son's cat food for free. Mr. Park didn't want pity, so he paid for it anyway. When Mi-jong received the cat food, she smiled from her heart for the first time. At that moment, her father felt truly happy. Soon, the senior students graduated. Dongjin's mother bought a fancy mink coat and took pictures with her son at the ceremony. But Dongjin only wanted to see Mi-jong. Meanwhile, Da-eun quietly left a graduation gift at the door. She seemed to want to apologize but ran away in shame. Dongjin was about to leave flowers at the door when it suddenly opened. Startled, he ran away in panic. Mi-jong opened the alumni book and saw her photo placed next to a group picture. Maybe this was Da-eun's silent apology. Mr. Park encouraged his daughter to continue studying. If she took the qualification exam, it was like getting a high school diploma, and she could still go to college. He wanted to take her to Seoul, far from this painful place. As he spoke, his periodontitis flared up again. He promised that once they moved to Seoul, he would see a dentist first thing. Encouraged by her father, Mi-jong regained hope and started studying again. When it was time to harvest potatoes, Mi-jong didn't want her father to work alone and went to the field help him. Suddenly, a venomous snake came out of the ground and bit her ankle. Mr. Park rushed over, but Mi-jong soon lost consciousness. When she woke up, her father was lying on the ground, barely alive. She realized he had sucked out the venom. But because of his periodontitis, the poison spread faster. Mi-jong screamed for help, but her father stopped her. If people saw this, they would blame her for his death. He told her to run, to get away from him. However, villagers started approaching. To let her father go in peace, Mi-jong lied and said no one noticed them. In the end, her father died in her arms. People called her a witch who even killed her own father and drove her out of the village. Dongjin didn't know about this. To prove Mi-jong wasn't a witch, he chose statistics as his major in college. A boy sitting in the back of the class caught everyone's attention. Kim always kept to himself and never talked to anyone. Students said he was a psychopath, but the moment Dongjin saw him, he felt a sense of familiarity. Kim reminded him of Mi-jong. Dongjin couldn't help but approach him and tried to befriend him. Kim picked up his tray and left without a word. Dongjin didn't give up. He first gave Kim potatoes from his neighbor's farm and then invited him to eat together. Kim was surprised. because when he didn't respond, people got the message.